Saw this short little clip that Herbert posted featuring Dan Ives, by the way. Great channel, Brighter. If you haven't seen it, you're missing out. Maybe it's just me, but Dan Ives really seems to have put his foot down now, and rather than blowing with the winds of sentiment around Tesla, it's really starting to bang the drum on, hey guys, I think you're missing a trick here. Current price target, $315, if I recall, representing about 80% upside from where we are today. Let's see what he's got to say.
But still, that's a massive growth opportunity over the coming years. But from an EV perspective, it has been a very difficult time for the players and for investors, also in a market that's bifurcated. So it's like, do you want to be owning the minivan right lane with the paint job going 40 miles an hour, or the Bugatti in the left lane that you'll pay up for, which is essentially AI? So that's the problem right now in this market.
Can I just really quickly ask you, probably no other company in the S&P or even in the Mag 7 will be more impacted by the prospect of a Trump presidency. Do you foresee that if Trump was to win, that it's boom time for Tesla, because all of the malignment they've been receiving from the Biden administration would practically disappear in a day?
Yeah, I mean,
Bruh. Ain't gonna make a fucking difference either way. Zero difference, in my opinion. Now, just to be clear, Trump knows his voter base, and he knows that many voters in, quote, red states happen to be directly employed in the fossil fuel industry. So Trump's been out and about campaigning for the 2024 presidential race, spouting off all kinds of drivel about EVs, which some of it is slightly accurate when it's not a Tesla, but they don't have a range, you can't charge them, blah, 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 blah. The guy's not an idiot. It's very intentional, even though what he's saying is total bullshit. But guess what? It doesn't matter. Electric vehicles are an economic inevitability. They're already at price parity. Okay, correction, Tesla's vehicles. So again, Trump's probably right when he says EVs suck. He's not talking about Tesla specifically. But electric vehicles are at price parity with comparable ICE vehicles now. Those prices will continue to come down. They will go in the opposite direction for ICE vehicles. You have to be a moron already today if you could afford a Tesla and you don't buy one. Not everyone can afford a Tesla, but that's what the next gen vehicle's for. When it's much more affordable and equally compelling, it's game over for the ICE vehicle. So it doesn't matter what Trump or Biden or anyone says or doesn't say. Doesn't matter what incentives are available or not. It will not impact Tesla in any meaningful way. Speaking of Orange Man Bad and electric vehicles, let's hear the latest FUD tsunami from the man himself.
Mr. President, I think you also had a meeting with Elon Musk recently. And,
I did.
And I saw a piece written that Silicon Valley, uncharacteristically, I'm not saying it's 100% behind your candidacy, but certainly there seems to be a sea change to some extent this time around. What did Elon Musk tell you? You think you'll eventually get his support in some way, whether it's just verbal or monetary?
I don't know. Look, I've been friendly with him over the years. I've helped him when I was president. I helped him. I've liked him. We obviously have opposing views on a minor subject called electric cars. I'm all for electric cars, but you have to have all of the alternatives also. You can't just...
By the way, I actually agree from a freedom of choice point of view. Let consumers have the option of buying an overpriced piece of shit because they're going to be outcompeted by electric vehicles anyway. So there's no need to mandate certain dates where automotive manufacturers can't produce ICE vehicles anymore, because guess what? They're going to go bankrupt before then if they still intend on producing ICE vehicles beyond a certain point anyway. Because again, electric vehicles are an economic inevitability. They're just going to get better and cheaper over time, and they're already, at least Tesla's, at price parity. Now, regarding Trump's point about the electric grid, let me rewind a second, just play what he's got to say. He does actually have a point here. Now, what he's not saying is that the grid is continuing to evolve with more stationary storage, more renewable sources of generation. So at present, this is like a, 85 IQ argument. Well, today, if every single vehicle was electric, the grid couldn't handle it. No shit, Sherlock, but guess what? The grid is transforming. I mean, shout out to Tesla's master plan, part 3.
I'm all for electric cars, but you have to have all of the alternatives also. You can't just go to electric. I mean, you have a grid system in this country that's obsolete and a disaster. It's one of the...
By the way, the dude is actually right. Highly, highly, highly recommend this book, The Grid. Imagine that, called The Grid by Gretchen Bach or Bakey or fucked if I know. That's the cover. It's a few years old now, but still on point as ever. It's a stunning insight into how absolutely fucked the electric grid is in the United States. I mean, absolutely fucked. Good thing there's a company out there attempting to solve this very issue. What's their name? Oh, Tesla, that's right. Back to Orange Man Bad with his anti-EV FUD tsunami.
The things we worked on a lot is our grid system. It can't produce the electricity. It can't distribute the electricity. And, the electric cars are not not even a possibility to go all electric. This Biden all electric mandate is by very, very stupid people. First of all, they don't go far, they cost too much, and they're all going to be made in China. And the auto work.
Now, if you take Teslas out of the mix, he does kind of have a point. Many have pathetic range. Companies like Jaguar, Porsche, etc., just embarrassing themselves with their pitiful offerings. Again, cost-wise, there's certainly no entry-level and budget electric vehicles in the United States yet. This is a reasonable point. You can buy a new Tesla now for roughly the average new vehicle price in the US, but what if you can't afford the average vehicle? That's what Tesla's next-gen vehicle is for. And, quote, they're all going to be made in China. I mean, he does actually, again, have a point. Not all of them, but a lot. Compelling electric vehicles will be flooding in from China. And I expect if there is a Trump administration, there's probably going to be some extremely brutal import tariffs, taxes, duties, etc. on Chinese-made electric vehicles or any foreign-made electric vehicles, but not strong enough to stop the invasion. And don't want to rain on anyone's parade, but the EV FUD, the anti-EV FUD, no range, can't charge, grid can't handle it from Trump is going to continue to ramp up. As I said, he's pandering to his voter base, at least a portion. People who are employed in the fossil fuel industry in regions where economies are heavily dependent on fossil fuels. That's who he's targeting with these comments. They ain't going to stop. However, it's not going to make a fucking difference what Orange Man Bad says. And in case you missed it, maybe a week or two ago on this very channel, I covered a very interesting, fascinating piece of data. A huge number of Republican voters, people who identify as Republicans, are massive fans of Elon Musk, even though Orange Man Bad and many other Republicans constantly shit on EVs. Back to Dan Ives after that short detour.
Elections, like obviously if Trump won, there'd be benefit. But then I'd argue on the other side, in terms of China tensions, that would be more negative, and that would actually hurt Tesla, just given that it's such an important end market for them and Apple. And I think there's definitely, across Asia, in terms of my travels, a lot of questions on the elections, EVs. And look, essentially it went from a Cinderella story to a horror show, but it's probably somewhere in between.
And now, is Tesla stock primed for a comeback? Let's find out, according to the finance media.
Let's do Tesla. Little change, stuck right at $175, 180, basically, over and over.
Yeah, there was some China data out. They sold 30,141 units in February in China. Overall, they sold over 60,000, but they exported some of those Teslas out.
Hey, that's nice to hear. Some context provided with China numbers. Turns out that Tesla does in fact produce vehicles in China, and some of them don't get sold in China but exported. It's rare to hear that caveat mentioned. I'm impressed.
Out of China, they're lagging. That's only 7% of the market share. BYD sold about 28%. So they continue to lose that battle in the EV space.
Some context would help. Most of BYD's vehicles are sold in China, whereas most of Tesla's vehicles are sold globally. Now, it's true, BYD is killing Tesla in China, but they're also selling vehicles for half to a third the cost. But BYD has a massive concentration risk at the moment, being so heavily dependent on domestic sales in China. Not to take anything away from BYD.
In the last 3 months of 2023, Oliver's sales were only up 3%. We're not used to those numbers. We're expecting bigger numbers. They're expected to sell 2.1 million vehicles this year. So this thing's ran into some problems along with what Musk has on the Twitter side or X side also. Stock's only up 2% from year ago levels, down 28% so far in 2024. So I
just wanted to provide some context. Tesla stock essentially going nowhere over the last 12 months. This ain't the first time or the second time or the third time. In fact, it's par for the course and to be expected. Tesla stock all time up over 13,000%, but it has not been a straight and consistent ride up. From the 26th of November 2010 till January 2012, Tesla stock was down about 25%, more than a year, going less than nowhere. In fact, from 26th of November 2010 until the 11th of January 2013, well over 2 years, Tesla stock going nowhere, down almost 7%. We've been here before. 7th of March 2014 until the 24th of May 2019, more than half a decade, Tesla stock down about 25%, going less than nowhere for more than half a decade. There have been plenty of periods, a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5+ years where Tesla stock has gone nowhere. And then other points in time where in almost no time at all, a few months, the stock has massively broken out. This is par for the course, to be expected, totally normal for Tesla stock. And in my opinion, if you can't handle the volatility, GTFO. From its peak closing price until today, Tesla stock off over 55%. And as we saw in the last year, essentially having gone absolutely nowhere. But again, this is to be expected. Tesla stock continues to shake out weekends year after year after year. But as I mentioned, I'm still buying, so I'm all for it. I had expected at this point in time I would have been paying more than double what Tesla's currently available for, which means my money's going twice as fast. So can confirm the flying spaghetti monster, the one true Sky Daddy, has answered my prayers once again.
This thing's been under pressure, but I think somebody also taken a stance here that we're going to see some gains here over the next month or 5 weeks. Saw a trader buy 13,000 of the April 175 strike calls, average debit of about $11.90. So that break even just under 187 over the next 38 days. That's about 4.5% above the current share price in there. Call and put volume about equal, about 800,000 calls, 800,000 puts have traded in today's session. But somebody thinks this is going to bounce. I don't know what the trigger is going to be. It's been kicked out of the magnificent.
Bro, I was zoning out when they put this technical shit on screen. I'm just like, maximum loss is a mere $15,470,000. Oh my God. Approach with caution.
7, right? So we're down to the fabulous 4. But this one's definitely underperformed so far this year.
Okay. Yeah, Tesla is really kind of in its own world, not a good way.
Yeah.
Looks like the shares are holding on barely. I mean, like, the chart's not looking good right now, frankly.
Yeah.
Because, dips get bought everywhere else. Tesla keeps making lower lows.
Yeah.
So it's really just worse and worse. All right. At least it's kind of predictable.
Psychology around traders is quite interesting. We're hearing the chart of Tesla stock described as getting worse and worse. Meanwhile, I'm licking my lips more and more. It's like the cheaper, the better. I think that's when you really know you've reached an important milestone as a long-term investor, is when your psychology is inverse to the herd. A stonk's down, a stonk you love is down. You're excited, you're pumped because you can buy more for less. Your money's going further. You've made it. The stonk's down and you're crying in the corner, asking for daddy to hold you, whining, complaining, butthurt, angry. Elon, stop having opinions. You're killing my Tesla stock. You still have a lot of growth to do, young Padawan. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. It's an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a fuck ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point. It's something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, Here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, Snake Oil Salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link at the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links at the pinned comment, see you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.